Hello and welcome to today's video, and in today's video we'll be unboxing these two light fittings. Now I don't normally buy stuff on eBay, but I've seen these and they were going quite cheap, so I did a buy it now and I managed to get it. So we'll just quickly look at the item, and the item is described as 2x Thorn Fluorescent batten fittings, 0.9 meters, a price, a condition, and it says wattage 70 watts and white. And if I just change to the next bit, it says description: 2x Thorn batten fittings, 0.9 meters. Now for anyone who's selling stuff on channels, it's best to describe as they actually are, but if you don't know the exact meaning, this can happen and you can end up losing on sales. So what we've got in these boxes is what I'd consider a 3-foot T8 fluorescent light fitting. We'll just get that one out, we'll just remove the box. In the box we have some fitting instructions. I'll hold it and we'll get that crease out. See, so if you want to pause and read this information, you can. A bit more. There we go. I don't know if that's it. Yeah. It shows you different versions with diffusers, changing the tube, and on that side. And then on the other side we've got some small print, which is very small. There we go. Right, inside the boxes there are no fluorescent tubes, but this isn't a problem because I do have some. But we do have some clips that hold on a cover. We have a starter, and this one is an Osram. Some of these have information on the edge, and this one has as well, but it's actually impossible to see it. It says Osram ST, I think that's 111 in Germany. Inside, of course, the light fitting is upside down. We have a Thorn sticker with some writing. There we go. Model number, 1x30 watt bulb. The usual paperwork. We have the wiring part, and again it's these are labelled live, neutral and earth. So the live comes in on the orange wire, goes to the ballast. There we go, there's the ballast. From the ballast it goes all the way, actually goes, where does it go? Yeah, it's this wire. It goes all the way to the end cap, and then from the end cap it goes to the starter connector, back all the way to the other side of the light fitting, again to this end cap, or tombstone as some people call them, and then back to neutral. And then we have a capacitor bridging live and neutral, smoothing capacitor. And that's it inside. Now I've managed to get some tubes for these lights. Fluorescent tubes is not a problem. I have loads in my connection, and these for this are Crompton. See if we can get that to go in focus. Nope. Looks good. F30 T8 835 SPECTRA Plus, I believe that says. The usual, do not put in a wheelie bin, as in recycle correctly. There's no place where these are actually made on them, I can see. Got a bit of wear on this one, and the end caps on these are that style. So I think the best thing to do now is to wire this light up. Now luckily, because there's two, I've done one earlier. So what I'll do is I'll quickly pause the video and change a few items around. Okay, so the important thing obviously when wiring lights up is to obviously make sure you have the correct fuse in your plugs. This one is a cable from, I don't know, some item, and it was a 13 amp plug, but obviously for these lights we're going to be using the little pink or red 3 amp fuse, and they just clip in like so, and then safety cover. And then obviously I need to just wire up this light, and that use the base on this. I'm only going to do these temporary, so obviously I'm not going to use wire tighteners in these lights. These are only to show in this video. If they are connected up properly, I will use a zip tie to secure the wire. So now I think what we're going to do is wire up these two lights and turn them on. Of course, when wiring these lights, it's always recommended that you use the earthing wire, as these lights are made out of metal. So there we go, we have the wiring, live top, neutral bottom and earth in the middle. And again, I said this light is on a 3 amp fuse, and the reason why I've used a 3 amp fuse is because the socket on the wall, which I'm going to plug this into, is connected to a 32 amp circuit. Right, this is a consumer unit that I'm using on today, and as you can see, the two sockets are both 32 amps, and this is the main reason why we use 3 amp, 5 amp and 13 amp fuses in our plugs. So once you've wired up the light, all you have to do is put it back together. These just all clip together, there's no screws holding these Battens together. Just have to make sure they're lined up correctly so everything goes together. The end caps are held by the base plate as well, so, and then we've got a spring on the back, making sure of course that there is no wires trapped when you do this. It's easier to do it when you're doing it on a desk than it is on the ceiling. They're now nicely secure. And again, you get your tube and stick it in the fitting and rotate 90 degrees. Actually, it might be 45. And that is it. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to turn off some of the lights and do a couple of startups of these Thorn 30 watt T8 fluorescent light fittings. Okay then, so let's turn them on in 3. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. They are noisy, these light fittings, but because they're quite thin and they're not secured obviously to anything. So these lights have had, tubes have had a few hours on them, but nothing big. They're virtually brand new. Got the slight flicker on the camera as normal, so I'll turn them off. And then I'm going to completely black out the room. So again, on 3, 1, 2, 3. And a final time. Now these light fittings are and were used quite a lot in, I noticed them in Waterstones quite a lot, on fitted at the top of the bookshelves. Obviously they are because they're a 3-foot design. When you're designing a shop and shelving, you can use a mixture of 3 foots, 4 foots and 5 foots, basically to fit out any part of a shop. So a very useful light fitting. If anybody's interested in what these lights are using on the power meter, I'm going to show that now. Okay, with both lights currently running, we are running 78.2 watts. The figure underneath is of course how much it has cost since this unit's been running and how long it's been running. A kilowatt. Today's voltage is 240.2 at 50 hertz, and we're currently at 0.722 amps with a power factor of 0.45. And what I'm going to do now is turn off one of these lights. And as you can see, the amps has now dropped to 0.366, power factor of 0.44, and the watts now for each one of these 30 watt lights is around 38.9. to 39.2. So yeah, it's just fluctuating a little bit, but that's about right. So I'd like to say thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you again soon. Goodbye. Just the one. And the other one.